Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Underdressed. Hold on. I can't start to week. There we go. Yeah, that's the equivalent for you ladies. That's some weave. See that? See how I just dressed everything up? Welcome, 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 and good morning to all you beautiful people out there. Look at you, looking just as good as you want to. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I am your host, Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm so excited to be here. How was your weekend? It was great for me. It was great. I was away from home for a complete day. I had to drive to Michigan. I went to my pilgrimage to see my mom's grave and my brother Charles. They're right next to each other. So I spent 2 or 3 hours out there with them, just catching up and just spending time and trimming everything up. You know how it is. So that was a nice thing. Stopped and saw my brother Duran. Shout out to him and his family. Played with all the babies and stuff. Great weekend. Got some gardening done. What did you do? I'm interested. What was the #1 thing on your to-do list this weekend that you actually completed? What were your intentions that you followed through on? Put them in the comments. So here we are. Welcome back to what we do Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. We get together and we fulfill that promise, which guarantees us that where 2 or more of us come together, it's not that something could, would, should, or might happen wonderful. It happens every time, and it's because of you. So thank you so much for that. Oh, there it is. As always, the Bell of Purpose. The Bell of Purpose is not just a prop. The Bell of Purpose is here to remind us when you hear it, it's our opportunity to be a part of something greater than ourselves. That means when you hear the bell, Share the broadcast out. Call a friend. Send out a raven. You know, send up a smoke signal. Do something. Just don't keep all this great stuff to yourself. Also, it's a reminder that someone might have posted a comment. You might have just missed something that someone said on the guest or myself that you don't want to just fly by in your car. Back the car up. Just because it's in the middle of the road doesn't mean it's roadkill. You could be surprised and find some soul fill. Now, why am I mentioning soul? Because that's our theme for season 5, year number 5, is show me your soul and I'll show you mine. What that means is that this is a safe space to share your feelings, pour into others, and get poured into, receive, and give all those good things that make us who we are and help us to live our best versions of ourselves. Can I get an amen? Okay, help me welcome to the show, won't you please, as we always do at this time. This is my sidekick, my personal version of Ed McMahon. This is Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo, and we're still on that, what's it called, y'all? Remember that big word, macchiato? Yeah, that's what it is. Which I don't know if it tastes like that or not, because I don't even know what a macchiato is. But it's coffee. It's medicinal for me. I don't even care about the flavor. Yes, I do. I take that back because I drank, what was that one? Somebody gave me, you know, you guys are always sending me bags of coffee because you know I love coffee. But no offense, somebody sent me what was it? Pumpkin, cinnamon, something. Y'all was wrong for that. You guys, today is a great day in the neighborhood. I'm so excited. We have a first timer here. So be on your best P's and Q's today and welcome this guy, man. I have so many questions for him. His name is Cam, C-A-M, Montgomery Jr. He says that Compassionate is his middle name. We're going to get into that. So Cam is a voiceover artist. He's also an actor, mainly commercials, a film festival moderator, a screenwriter of short films, and a former talent manager. His voice work, however, is his favorite. So he volunteers in his spare time, which it didn't sound like he has much, at a residence for the elderly. And he treats everyone he meets and encounters precisely the way he wants to be treated. And I'm not even going to try that Bugs Bunny thing. That's all, folks. I just did it. Oh, see, you don't have to try. You just have to do. I'm nowhere near as good and proficient as Mr. Cam is. But listen, you guys, I want to get him in here now. And I want you to do what we do. Put some hearts on the screen and put your heart into the screen. That means put your heart into today's conversation. Get involved. Be a part of it. And put your hands together. Snap. Do whatever you want to do. And let's welcome our guest for today. Here he comes. Cam Montgomery Jr. How are you?
Oh. First thing I want to say is that intro is just awesome. I mean, it really is awesome. Very upbeat.
Oh, the song?
Yes, I'm sitting here going, okay, Mr. Lauren.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. How are you, Mr. Cam Montgomery Jr.?
Well, let's just say that here in Los Angeles, it is very, very early, much earlier than I would ever.
Thank you for getting up with the crack of dawn, for real.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But I feel great. So I'm happy to be here.
And we're happy you're here. Listen, tell everybody, well, you said Los Angeles. So tell everybody what you're doing out there and just give us a little backstory before we get started about.
Oh, okay. Well, back in 2000, I moved from Brooklyn, New York to Los Angeles. And really the main reason was because I just got tired of the cold and the snow. So I said, you know what? I got to try something different. I only knew one person who lived here when I got here. Mm-hmm. And I never will forget him telling me, if you're familiar with Los Angeles at all, mm-hmm. he said, when you get here, you don't want to live north of Franklin Boulevard or Franklin Avenue, and you don't want to live south of Wilshire Boulevard. So that put me in Koreatown.
I know, right? With Ventura.
It's unbelievable. Well, Ventura
Not
is
Ventura. What's
in
the
valley
with a V? That runs right through there.
No, that is Ventura, but that's in the valley.
Yeah, but there's
right. And he was telling me not to go in the valley. He wanted me
like the valley.
Well, listen, I've since learned not to listen to him.
Okay.
I've been living in the valley now since 2001.
And what part of the valley are you in?
It's called West Toluca Lake.
I know where that is. West Toluca. I used to live in Studio City.
Okay, very close.
And
very
you know,
close.
everybody over there, oh, Laurel Canyon. Oh,
Yep,
is
yep,
that
yep.
great? Mm-hmm.
Very,
So
very, very close.
yes, you're right. And when I first moved there, nobody told me nothing. So I lived right at Hollywood and Highland.
Oh,
Kind
no,
of on
see,
Yucca, right across from the bowl, the Hollywood Bowl. Yep.
yeah. Well, I mean, of course, that's a great place to be if you can get over to the Bowl. It's rough on the traffic, but the Hollywood Bowl is really terrific.
It is.
I sometimes work there through Disney. Um, I come. Well, no.
You
I'll
gonna
come there.
casually throw Disney out. Yeah, I'm over there once in a while, through Disney. But only if I haven't had time to stop by Oprah's house. Anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Well, she's in Santa Barbara area, so that's a little distance away.
See, he knew her. Okay. So the Bowl. So let's talk about that. Disney.
Okay, well, Nightmare Before Christmas. Do you remember that film?
Yes.
Well, they always have some kind of reunion, like after like 5 years, 10 years or whatever. So in this reunion, they go to the Hollywood Bowl and they show the film for the audience. But while the film is playing, there is a live orchestra there actually doing the accompanying music that you would see in the film.
Right.
So before the film starts, Disney trots me out there and we have a gigantic wheel like on The Price is Right. Ooh. And I let guests spin the wheel and then I give them gifts.
Oh, okay.
So I'm the host, laughing with them and everything.
Yeah, the warm up,
That's it.
Yes. Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's a good time.
So let's talk about this voiceover. I do a little voiceover too. I'm an AFTRA member, but I'm not SAG, but I'm an AFTRA member. And I'm interested in how you got started because I tell people all the time, you might be able to validate this. I don't know how old you are. I'm older than you.
I'm 57.
Yep, I'm older than you. I'm 58.
Okay. Well, God bless.
I might as well say 59, 4th of July. So it's ding, done. But I got started actually because I went to broadcasting school and did all that, went through almost 20 years in radio. And then, it's pretty, you got to do all the commercials and stuff. So then you get into voiceover work. But what really started the whole thing for me was back when we had machines, phone machines and recordings. And I used to have a side gig. People would hire me to record their tapes, their greetings for their phone machines.
Okay.
They would always say, why don't you just go on radio? And so I went into radio and one thing led to the next. So what started you off? Was it people saying, boy, that voice?
Well, people did like the voice, but that didn't spur me.
That wasn't what did it?
What happened is that my primary care physician one day, while I'm being checked up or whatever, she said, listen, the hospital is going to do a video about the hospital. I think it would be great if they interviewed some of our patients and you'd be one of the patients. And I said, oh, okay, fine. So during that recording, one of the engineers said, do you do voiceovers? And I said, no. And he said, listen, I've got a voiceover gig that's coming up on such and such a day. You'd be perfect. You'd be perfect for it. And, we'll pay you X amount of dollars, whatever. And I said, okay. So I did that one for him. And then he had me come back and do another. And then he gave my name to other people. And then the ball start rolling. And then I got an agent and things start going from there. But so it all started with me recording that video for the hospital. Again, it wasn't. And that was my point, that it's not everybody that I've ever met that for the most part in radio voiceovers or, those people that do the stingers and stuff for the stations. And I've met a few of those. And none that I've met actually set out to end up doing that. It's pretty interesting. Yeah. And what's interesting is that since I've been here, and even in New York, I noticed any number of people who really earned a great living at acting didn't start off that way either.
No,
they thought they were going to do something else. And then somebody else saw them somewhere. And next thing you know, they are what they are. I know a kid right now, he's 18 years old. Well, actually, he just turned 19. Someone saw him somewhere, and now he's starring in Lifetime films. He never thought of acting in his life.
See, it's just what's meant to be. It's our callings. So I want to ask you this one. So have you done any animation?
All right. I've done voiceover for, because when you say animation, you mean as a character?
As a character, yeah.
No. I haven't done a character. All of mine have been promos or the actual commercial, where I'm like a spokesman of sorts.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And you know, here's the deal. For some reason, I was always getting these auditions to do video games as a soldier or a captain or whatever. And those auditions are just grueling because they're so hard on the voice, because they want you to scream all the time. Oh. So then I finally had to say, you know what?
That ain't for me.
Right. Because I was hoarse the next day. Like, you know, and I mean, really scream it out. If you've ever listened to any of these things, you know, the people are always screaming over all the gunshots or whatever. And it really is tough.
Yeah, see, I don't know anything about that because Miss Pac-Man don't have a voice. You know, when they had one toggle, I could play video games, but all this stuff here, that's why those kids so good with cell phones and thumbs. They already were doing it with Nintendos and whatnot. So, well, that's interesting because I was wondering, because, you know, it seems like a lot of the comedians and the film actors, they now get all that gig over there, doing voice.
See, they do those characters,
right,
where they really are just themselves a lot of times, like Kevin Hart or whatever. But there's not all that yelling and screaming that they want in the video games. I mean, the video games, my voice quality, for whatever reason, they always thought you should be the captain or whatever, and that person is screaming constantly,
all the time.
Yeah.
Right. So what about this one? You know what? I almost had a senior moment. I'm not kidding. It was like, I was like, come back here. But I thought it happens. You better get in here. So look, have you ever that sucker came back and kicked? Oh, you gonna play with me? Okay. See, you get senior moment yet?
Of course. Of course.
I gotta play with him.
It scares me sometimes. Like one day, I'm talking on the phone to my sister, and I'm frantically searching for my phone.
I did that.
Searching. And I tell her, I cannot find my phone. She goes, you're talking on it. I go,
same thing happened to me. Y'all heard me tell that story. Yes, I was like, and I mean 40 minutes. I'm walking and distracted. And she goes, what's wrong? I said, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be distracted, but I'm trying to find my phone. She goes, how many you got? I said, just that one. Same thing. Oh my goodness. I don't feel so bad now. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
It's so funny. That is so funny. So Cam,
yes.
What about this one?
Okay.
Because just like you said, that was difficult. I remember I had been in major market. I was out in LA. I worked at the Beat.
Okay.
KPT. Right.
Yes,
so I was on the air there. And I came here, in Michigan, looking for my birth mom. And there was a radio station that was classical. I was like, well, shit. I'm coming from LA major market. I ain't worried about this audition for they brought out a Rolodex as big as a wig head. I'm not kidding. And all those front announcers and backing up. That was Von Trick Wiegenfachen and the Solo Orchestra, conducted by and I was into it like maybe 3 minutes, and they gave you like 5 straight minutes. You had to keep doing it. I said, never mind, y'all. Never mind.
Well, the ones I find difficult is if I have auditions for some medical practice or whatever, and I have to say all those medical terms. So I have them broken down phonetically. I set up a card or whatever. I say them over and over again to myself before I record. Now, the beauty of recording, many of us record at home these days. So you can just do it over and over again until you
get it right.
Until you get it right. And even when you're in the studio, you can do it over and over again until you get it right. But if you're in a studio and somebody's paying for that time, you want to get it right as quickly as possible.
Or they're going to call you back.
Right. Because they want to get somebody who can do it quick.
I remember that. I was a jingle singer. And, yeah. That was before the voice stuff. I was a jingle singer. So
like Luther Vandross.
Yeah. I was out there then. Luther and Patty Austin. They were getting all the gigs.
Yes.
All the gigs. And then, I was like, dang, I was glad when he got his record deal. So, you talked about these medical things. Now, what about when you're having to read all those side effects? Good cause.
Well, you know what? What I'm really have been good at is, you know how if you listen on the radio and you will hear usually some pharmaceutical or something, and at the end,
Trying to clear my camera.
they talk really fast, you know.
Yeah, those disclaimers. That was my next one.
Oh, okay. I've been pretty good at that, where I'm able to just really quickly say, and this. Right. Because they want to get it. They want to get it all in, but you know, nobody really understands what the hell they're saying.
Well, you know, just a thought. You know, when you get, you know, over there to the golden ages, because you're far from it, but when the day comes, you might be able to retire and go into being an auctioneer. Probably the first black one.
You know what? I don't think I've ever seen one.
Huh?
I don't think I have ever seen a black.
I haven't.
I'm sure there must be at least one or two out there.
Is Sherry McQueen here today? Sherry McQueen is my little research agent. I don't think she's here today. If anybody out there, Robert Brooker, can you check it out for me? See if there's an African-American auctioneer anywhere. So, and I did want to ask you this. Oh, yes. Here's one I wanted to know about voiceovers. You know how, what about audio books? I hear that is a tough thing to actually audition for one once.
Okay.
Line, Lauren. I did. And they wanted so many pages, error-free. And you have to be the character, and sometimes you have to change your voice to be male, female.
Right.
Have you ever done that?
I haven't done it, and the main reason is because the thought of sitting there for hours recording this thing, it just blows my mind. I mean, I like the voiceovers where I get in, I get out. I have a young lady friend who does earn her entire living from doing audiobooks. And she really likes it. She likes just plopping down and doing it. And she's done so many of them now.
Has she?
But I just don't have the patience.
That's a calling.
Yeah.
That's a calling. And speaking of a calling, can you explain to the viewers? I bet you a lot of people think that voiceover, oh, how easy. All you got to do is get them to talk. You know, all you got to do is get them to read something, you know. But talk about some of the things that you have to do to keep your edge as far as being called back and being a voice that's memorable. What are they really looking for in a good voice?
Okay, you know what? I'm going to say we are portraying a character. You know, you're a spokesperson, you're whatever. Different clients look for different things. Now, for me, what I always try to do is have a little versatility. Okay. So there's a voice that I'll use so that you can't necessarily tell what my ethnicity is. There's a voice that I use. You can definitely tell what my ethnicity is. Sometimes I
have fun with that one, but I
sometimes I speed it up. Sometimes I won't.
Who the hell are you talking to? Right. I know which one that is. But you wait, you know where we get that from. Quit playing. We were just watching the thing last night. My husband is Caucasian, right? Okay. And I tried to explain to him about how our mothers and aunts and stuff, remember how they'd be like, and if you don't get your ass back in here, hello. Oh, hello, Mr. So-and-so. And they put on their white voice. Right. Voice. Did you grow up hearing that?
Okay. In my household, we didn't prefer to call it a white voice. We called it a proper voice.
A proper voice, right.
So yes,
that's why I said it.
So yes, we would do the proper. My mother, we always laughed at her because when she answered the phone, it was never hello. It was always yellow.
Yes.
They were like yellow. What's that?
That's so funny.
And then hang up the phone if you don't sit your ass down.
Right. Just go back and forth, back and forth. Can you hold on a moment?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
I mean, it was, you talk about some Golden Globe performances. So let me ask you, who is your favorite male? Do you have one? I have one. A favorite male voiceover, and it's just one line that just made me go, oh my God, I was Macaulay Culkin. I want to be like him. I'm a
you know what? No, there isn't. There really isn't.
You know who's what? You know, okay, like because when
I have favorite singers, I have
that's what I was gonna say.
Favorite actors, but voiceover, no.
Well, he's an actor, but his voiceover work for this one campaign just is what really sent me into it. You know, when I was up there, you know, trying to get my first deal, my first recording deal, it was Howard Hewitt, you know, now and then Kim came along, and I'm like, you know, people like that. And James Earl Jones.
Yeah, people love his voice.
This is CNN.
They love his voice.
That was just, it was so, and you know, you hear Forrest Whitaker,
yes,
doing stuff, and what's the other guy's name from the electric company?
There goes I Sing Your Moment.
I meant to say him when I said Forrest Whitaker, so I jumped it over to you.
Right. Doesn't his name begin? I think his name begins with an M, doesn't it?
Honey.
Easy Reader is what I remember.
From electric company.
That's what we're talking. That's what we're talking about. His name is what is his name?
What is his name, y'all? Somebody out there help us. You know, and he has all those great movies. Green Mile.
Shawshank Redemption is my favorite.
Redemption, him.
Morgan Freeman.
Oh, yeah, I tried to grab it. I was like, you the one with a senior moment. It wasn't me. So okay.
Right.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman. You hear him doing a lot of voiceover.
Oh, he's terrific. And he narrates, you know, they got him narrating in those films like Shawshank Redemption. He narrates that whole thing.
Now so you do a lot of commercial work. So
yes.
When you say commercial work as a voiceover, do you ever get them where we actually see you? Or is it mainly just the voiceover track?
Oh, it's just the voiceover. You never see.
What if they said, well, you know, we got another one where we'll use your face. I mean,
of course, because I also do commercials as an actor in front of the camera. So hell yeah.
Let's talk about your acting.
Okay.
Anything we might have seen?
Oh yes, if you ever remember One Christmas.
Thank you. What's that?
If you remember One Christmas Time, there was a huge campaign from Nespresso, and it was George Clooney and Danny DeVito. And I'm one of the principals in that commercial. I'm in Southwest Airlines. I just shot Amazon Prime 2 weeks ago. So we'll see.
How did it happen?
Now, I'll tell you this.
What?
During coronavirus last year, the pandemic at the beginning, in February of 2020, I shot 12 spots for AT&T. And this was for the March Madness basketball. March Madness was canceled. So all 12 commercials, history. They'll never see the light of day because the athletes that are used in them, of course, won't be the big athletes next year.
Right.
But I mean, I still got my pay.
You still got paid, but let's talk about this part. So in case there's somebody out there, I think I want to throw my hat in the ring for voiceover work. What about that? So when you do one of these national spots, do you get, what is it called? Residuals, royalties? And talk about that. How long does it last? You know, do you get paid every time it shows? How does it work?
Okay, here we go. When you shoot these commercials, they're in cycles. And it depends on what kind of commercial it is. If it's a national commercial or if it's a commercial that's only shown regionally, like in one state, 2 states, 3 states. And of course, there's different pay tiers for that. All of us who do commercials, we hope, we pray it'll be national, that it'll go all around the country.
You get paid then, huh?
Well, I mean, you get paid for all of them, but you get paid more for that. And then we also hope that it goes international. Like my commercial Nespresso with George Clooney was international. And sometimes the commercials are dubbed in Spanish. You're paid for that too.
Even though, not even your voice.
Even though it's not your voice, but it's still your face.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, it's still your face. And they're just using them. Now, of course, if you are an actor here and you speak Spanish, you speak English, I mean, you can really clean up. I mean, you can be
bilingual,
doing both of them. Right. So, and same thing if you're French or whatever. So we hope for national commercials.
What if you just ghetto?
Then you can do McDonald's or something. Well, no, they always have like something
urban
at the right, which is what they call that market, urban. So anyway, most of them are contracts that are 13 weeks. So for that 13 weeks, you're paid. right? If they decide to run beyond that, then you're paid again. But in that 13 weeks, in the contract, it can say, okay, during this 13 weeks, we can run this thing 400 times, 500 times, and you just get paid the one thing, or you'll get paid something extra. Usually, whatever your agent can work out.
Negotiate.
But certainly there are, minimums.
When you're a union person, talk about the difference. And how does a person get themselves inside? I know, but you tell them. Okay. There's a couple different ways to get inside the union.
And there's several. Usually, if you have the look that somebody wants, they'll just put you in it, and they'll pay whatever penalty they have to pay for putting someone who's not a member of the union in there, because they figure, well, this is exactly what we want.
Like you're an illegal alien, kind of. Putting somebody to work ain't got no green card, huh? Okay.
But I will say this: when you are in the union, the most lucrative background work you can do is in commercials, because the base pay for that is about $388 per 8-hour day. And then anything over that, overtime. Okay. Now, if you were a background in television or film, and you're a member of the union, that's $178 for 8 hours. So if you're going to do background in your union, you really want to do commercials. Right. All right. Now, yeah, because you get paid. And if you're a principal, the person that you see in a commercial, whether he speaks or not, we're all paid the same thing. So if I'm in a McDonald's commercial, but you just see me smiling, I'm still paid the same as that actor that you see saying 14 lines. And that's about $712 for the first 8 hours.
How do you know if they increase where it's supposed to be played? I'm like, starts here. Oh, it's doing well. Let's move it to this part. And this
okay.
How do you know?
That's a great question. And the answer is, in my heart of hearts, we really don't. I don't know. Like when it plays in another country. Yeah. They can tell me, the production company can tell me anything. The people who produced it, we only played it this many times. There's no way I could know that. I mean, they're just
unless you have a cousin or something in Guatemala who just happened to be recording. And it's like, look, oh man.
But even that cousin would have to be on the television 24/7 watching. So there's no way to know. Even here in this country, I mean, they tell me, okay, we're going to run it this many times. We just have to believe them.
Wow. Okay, when we return, we're going to take a brief pause for the cause here in just a moment. And when we return, one of the questions I'd like to talk to you about is the rejection part. Okay. And how long did it take before, the little train that could started so that you can have enough income? Because I want to know how many of you as voiceover artists work full time, or do you have to have, for the most part, a day job in conjunction with it?
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about
that when we return. You guys, we'll be right back. Don't go away. Great time to share the broadcast out and invite someone to join us. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Well, hello and welcome, everybody. Hey, today is an amazing... So that's important. And I love what you said. This too shall pass, people. It's not permanent. Whatever's going on.
Welcome back to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Norm Michael. You know who I am, even if I don't. Come on in. Cam is here still. He's backstage, probably gorging himself on all those pastries and imported coffees we offer. Not. Listen, you guys, if you have a business, a message, a brand that you would like to take to the next level through digital content creation, please get at us over here at Electric Revival. Hello, where everything you see on the show, we create. So that gives you an idea of what we do. If you need us, just call us, right? Here he comes back. And Cam, I owe you an apology. I was so busy I thought I had lost one of the vegetarian sausages. My husband had I ate them all, right? I ate both of them. I thought I had an extra one. I was so busy looking for it, I forgot to take you out of the broadcast. So when we went, there you were. Sorry about that. So welcome back. You were going to tell us when we returned, which is now, you were going to share with us some of that stuff I asked you. Do you remember what they were? Did you you remember the question? I love you. You need to be here every day, so I don't have to have such a thing about my senior moments. No, I wanted to ask about
all the jobs, the different jobs we have.
Yeah, how do they start doing little by little, working at wherever, and then eventually build a career out so that how many of you voiceover people do it full time? Do you know?
Lauren, I suppose there's more who do it part time than full time.
I would think so too.
And the reason is because just like in Hollywood, with the actors, you see the same actors in 5,000 projects. There's a core group who've been there for years and years and years, and they're still good at what they do. So people just keep rehiring them. However, there are more non-union jobs than there are union jobs. And once you're union, you really should have nothing to do with non-union.
I will not be seen crawling through the scourge of, right, I get it.
Well, the only reason we feel that way is because when it's non-union, they don't offer the health care benefits. They don't offer any of that. Pension, none of that.
Oh, you get benefits when you're union? I know, but tell them. You really do.
Yeah, of course.
But you pay dues every year.
You pay dues. You certainly do twice.
You better not miss a payment.
Right. You pay dues twice a year.
Twice a year.
Yes. So it's every 6 months.
How much it is?
It depends on how much money you've earned in the year.
Now that's fair.
Right. It depends on how much money you've earned. So that person who earns $10 million for a movie, they're going to pay more dues than I would. Because I haven't gotten paid $10 million in 1 year.
What was your best year in, just roughly? You know.
Well, see, in my particular case, speaking more to what you said about all the different jobs, like I don't do it solely. I have other jobs. I mean, I do the thing with Disney where they trot me out to electronic.
Oh, those are different things.
But they all add to my yearly income.
I see.
So I cannot right now earn, or I do not earn the living that I currently have just on voiceover. So there's the voiceover income, there's the Disney income. A big chunk of my income comes from the last 10 seasons. I have been, the title is sequester manager of the television show Big Brother.
Sequester. So that means in charge of all that stuff going on in the house.
Okay, so here's the deal. You remember Facts of Life, right?
Yeah, Tootie and them.
Okay, and remember Miss Garrett?
Yeah.
You're looking at Mr. Garrett.
Oh, because I know that. Look, Brian and I were on a reality show 3 summers ago in Mexico. I'm not kidding you. I almost had to go into therapy.
What show were you on?
It was one we were at Charles Maddox, celebrity chef Charles Maddox. That's Bob Marley's nephew. Okay. He had a thing called 8 Days. And Brian and I were in the house with 8 people who, I think it was 8, who they all had cancer. Oh. And so Brian was there as a therapist. I was there as a motivator. But it was all that stuff, how, they wake you up, or you at the end of the night, you think you're done. And they're like, let's do shots and stuff. And then some beef starts or something. Next thing you know, you got to come back and they want to catch it. And they be whispering stuff in your ear. Go over there and ask her why. I mean, just starting shit. I'm not kidding. I was like, and that whole thing about the mansions and all that stuff looked good on TV. But they had swamp coolers. It was hot, what I mean? And they all plant-based diet, wasn't no meat, so I was died after 24 hours. Like, They got what they wanted.
Well, our mansions really are mansions, and they really do look good.
Ours looked good, but they were hot. It was
well,
like
ours aren't hot.
Okay, so what's okay? Without saying names and stuff, I mean, because I've seen where if people got kicked off shows for fighting and this, that, and the other.
Oh yeah.
So do you have to? Is that an 8-hour-a-day job? Since they're there 24 hours, who watches them when they're sleeping?
I wish that was an 8-hour-a-day job. Oh no, it has been as much as 24 hours for me.
Wow.
During COVID, it was 24 hours because we had to make sure everybody's good.
Wow, that's really exciting.
We were tested around the clock, and it was. Although I will say, the COVID season for me, in the 10 seasons I've been there, was my favorite.
The COVID season. Yeah,
because I mean, I just liked it.
How did COVID? Speaking of, how did that affect the opportunities? Let's put it that way, because a lot of people got the headphones, got the light rings, and green screens that had never thought that they would, and started entering into YouTube.
I bought all these lights that I have that are on me now that make me glow right now. I didn't have any of this until COVID, so I bought the lights. I even bought brand new. Well, I guess I've always had these, but brand new ones. I got this thing. I had never had this before.
Oh yes, I got
one. Put your phone. I had never had any of this stuff.
Right.
But now I'm really happy to have it because during COVID, I have 5 sisters and 1 brother. So we did our Zoom thing because they all live in Indiana. I live here in Los Angeles. So with Zoom, all of this was just great.
It really is. It opened up so many doors for so many of us. Now, before COVID, did you have to actually go in person?
Yes, for everything. For COVID, before COVID, you auditioned in person. And here in Los Angeles, that could be a real hassle. If you live in the Valley and they tell you your commercial audition is in Santa Monica, that's going to be a 2-hour jaunt.
Right.
So this now, because I did before I even talked to you, I recorded an audition.
Today.
Right. An audition in front of the camera.
Excuse me. So do you think it will go back at all to the way it was? Or do you think they go like, what were we thinking?
Well, you know what? I think they'll try to inch back, but because now the actor has to do everything. We have to light. We have to edit the video before we send it to you. We have to do all these things that we never had to do before.
Oh, here, record your voice and finish editing the commercial and get it back to us.
Well, they'll help you with if it's a voiceover. You can plug in and they're where they are and they can do what they do. But if you are submitting an audition for a commercial or for a television show or a film, you have to edit that damn thing.
Oh my goodness.
Light it. You have to do all of that and then send it to them.
Wow.
And nobody had to do that before. So now many of us are learning how to edit and how to do all that kind of stuff.
How interesting. Well, that's good. We stretch outside of our comfort zones.
That's true.
All bad. Let's switch gears here if we could, and let's talk about your volunteer work. You volunteer at a residence for the elderly. What's that all about? I love it, and I know why I like to hang out with elderly people because I'm a story guru.
Okay. But so am I. I love
it. Talk about that. What you do, why it's such a passion for you.
Okay. Truth be told, what led me there was a guilty conscience. And that means my elderly father was 85 years old, living in Indiana. So I didn't see him that often because I live here in Los Angeles.
Right.
Now, whenever I would go home, my siblings would show me how to care for him the way they were caring because he was living with one of my sisters, who was his primary caregiver. So anyway, when he passed, I felt like, you know what? I don't have the experiences that all of you have with him. So when I go back to Los Angeles, I'm going to find a residence for the elderly where people like him, and I'm going to go volunteer there so that I can get the same experience that you guys had. Now, nobody could have told me that I'd still be there 12 years later.
Wow.
So I go on Sundays. Now, COVID has hit us really hard, meaning that, they don't want me to come there, and, their families couldn't visit,
right?
All sorts of things. But the experience has taught me one thing. It used to be that I defined success for myself by the money that I made, the house or whatever. But being there with these people let me know that the greatest success is being able to independently use the bathroom.
I'm sitting there, I'm like, here it comes
the as simple as that. And
say it again.
If you can independently use the bathroom, you are a success.
Okay, wait a minute though, because I'm 59 in a couple of weeks, and I know I swear there are days, if they had a timer here, me getting from here to the bathroom, I swear I could qualify for the Olympics. I mean, it's like I'm so get out of the way, right? You know what I mean? Because it used to be, you're like, I think I might have to give them pee in about 15-20 minutes. Now it's like, I should have been in the bathroom 15 seconds ago.
But here's the deal. The beauty is that you can do it by yourself, because they tell me the day somebody has to come in and start wiping you down and whatever, it is the most dehumanizing feeling that they've ever had. So now I know now that everything beyond me being able to independently use the bathroom on my own, it's just icing on the cake. The cake is that I am independent.
What about this?
Yes.
I want to talk about this for real, because I have a theory. You know how, because, I volunteered and I would go and sing, right? And they put them all in, they got the little room.
Of course.
Piano and everything. Right. And I would talk to the people, and I'd always say, how come she never has any visitors? Or why is she on? And there was something about, why doesn't anybody come and see this person or that person? Have you learned anything? Do you have a theory?
I do.
Okay.
All right, here we go. You can have 15 children, and there's no guarantee that any of them will be there to visit you if you live in one of these places. Because, people who don't have children, a lot of times people with children will say, oh, you're missing out on such whatever. You can have as many children as you want. That doesn't mean that they'll come. Another thing we've learned is that a son usually is a son until he takes a wife, but a daughter's a daughter all her life. It always seems like it's the daughter who's always there, making sure mom and dad or mom or dad are good. Sons breeze in, 10, 20 minutes, they're out. Now, because I go on Sunday, this is what I do. I go on Sundays, I get there, I talk to whoever I see in the common rooms, if they're sitting by themselves, if they're sitting with another person. And then at lunchtime, I told the people who run the establishment, I want to go in that lunchroom. I want to pour the water at every table so that I can meet every single person. And I can gauge who's new and doesn't know anybody. And if they don't know anybody, I said, I want to sit down and I want to have lunch with that person. And then I want to invite other people to come and sit at that table with us, so that when I'm not there during the week, these other people have already met them. They can sit with them. It has worked out beautifully that way. Now, there are people who don't have family members who come that often. Right. So, of course, I spend a lot more time with them. When these people die, I'm amazed at how many of their family members who see me with them all the time invite me to the funerals, ask me to speak at the funerals. Could you tell everybody how my dad and you got along? So this has been a very rewarding, incredible experience for me.
It sounds like it. It sounds like my brother that I just visited this weekend has been volunteering for 26 years with Meals on Wheels. Okay. And he does that because he says a lot of those people he delivers the meals to, the lunch meals and stuff, that he's the only visitor outside person they get. So it's also a built-in wellness check, so to speak. For him to come, he's found many people that have fallen or something happened, they had a stroke or whatever, and were just laying in there. And had he not been there, knocking, knowing that they're always right here. You're right. Older people are very methodical. They up at 4 in the morning. They doing this, going to bed at 4 in the afternoon. Right. That's right. And I can't talk because I started yawning at 6. By 9. So, I want to know. Here's another thing. Tell everybody, because I know the value in this, and I want more people to understand how important our seniors, the resources that they truly are. I find the thing I love most about the active seniors I see, like at the health club, I always ask them what their secret is, and they say, I've been doing the same 3 simple exercises since I was in my 20s. Keep moving, keep moving. One lady told me, baby, just make sure you take care of your teeth and your feet. Yeah, she said your teeth and your feet. Right. Take care of your teeth and your feet. There you go. Now, there are people in there who, when you sit and you really get into story with them, it's just amazing who they've been, who they are. And I find that our seniors hold many secrets. Can you give us an idea? If you, let's say that the life secrets, those gems that just came out in a story, it made you go, huh? You know, if you had to put them in something, what kind of package would you need? How many times have you received?
All right. I have received many. One of my greatest joys is going into their individual apartments, looking through their scrapbooks or their picture books so I can see them when they were 20, 30, 40. Because, you know, I'm meeting them when they're 85, 90, to see them when they were vibrant and everything. It's just amazing.
It's amazing.
All right. Now, here's something that I have got to tell this audience.
Okay.
When we get to be seniors, we better have a couple dollars in our pockets.
Why?
Well, at this particular place where I volunteered, there are people paying $10,000 a month to live.
Right. For all that.
Let me say that again. $10,000 per month. The average person will never live in this place. Will never live in this place. So many of them have said they get that insurance where it's what's that? Aftercare or whatever it's called. And that helped them. Some of them, many of them, have been really incredible professionals, or their husbands were, or something like that.
Right. And now that far ahead.
They benefited from it.
Quality of life has a lot to do with sustaining or sustainability of life. Because if you're there, or you one of them state nursing homes in a corner, drooling, crying out, nurse, right. Well, you know, you go in, everybody like this, like, ooh, okay, I gotta go. Nice to see you, because it's, you know.
Of course. And this place, really, I mean, I always joke and say, if I could ever afford it, that's where I want to live.
I hear you. I hear you.
Now, I will say this too, since I've been there for 12 years, some of the seniors that I first met when I got there, they lived on the floors that were assisted living, where they could just come and go as they please.
Right. And then
but over the years, dementia, Alzheimer's, and I've watched them just go into this vibrant person to not being able to speak, like a zombie. So those people, because there's a floor that's locked down where they move to.
The Alzheimer's unit, the memory care unit.
And they only move there and lock down because they would wander if you don't do that.
Down the road, be gone.
So that's right. So when I go up there to them, they love to touch. So they're always touching my head, my arms. So I grab their hands, and for exercise, I just walk them around the facility. And if they can still talk, you know, they're talking what we would consider gibberish.
Yes.
I just roll with it. I roll with it. You know, if they say, "Oh, mom, I got to go home to mom. She's cooking dinner." "Oh, what is she making? What is she making? What are you?"
You know your mom ain't right. Kim, over the years, 12 years, that's a lot of people.
A lot.
We got about 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes left. Can you talk about how have you grounded yourself to be right? I would think right in that middle space where you're into the, you know, you're there, you care, but you can't care too much. You can't get too connected because these people die. And that's what bothered me, because I used to cook at one, right? And it broke my heart. I'd cry and cry, I'd be depressed, you know, because Mary passed. And so how do you deal with the loss of these people that you've grown to know as friends and maybe even in a familial way?
Well, I will say this. When I was 21 years old, my mother passed away from heart disease. When she did, my takeaway from that was that there would never be another human being on this planet that I could not live without, and that I had to accept that this is the circle of life. We come and we go. So I just accept it. And I know that all death isn't horrible. Some death is a great reprieve from the misery that this life has brought people.
So what's the number one thing you could say that you have taken from this experience of 12 years volunteering? Because, you know, when we pour into others, in my experience anyway, we end up being the ones receiving more value than we could have ever given. What would you say that value is to you, and how important is it for those of us out here who may not even know it exists? What is that thing for you?
My greatest takeaway is simply live your life the way you want to, so that you have no regrets if you are blessed to be 85, 90 years old.
You know, that's a great one. The power of you. My birth mother, I just came from seeing her grave yesterday. I met her at age 32. The best thing that ever happened to me on both ends of that 32 years. And on her deathbed, she reminded me, and I'll close with this today, you guys, and this is why I love what that really jumped out of your bio to me is one of the most impressive things. I just want you to know that.
Thank you very much.
That seriously, because the manner in which we bless is the manner in which we will be blessed. So you guys keep that in mind as well. But my mom said to me, she said, Lauren, I was the last one to go in there because I kind of waited. I thought her real kids should go first. I don't think that way anymore. And she said, remember the day you knocked on my door? I said I could die a happy woman. And I said, yeah. She goes, today's that day. And I was like, I started to say, oh, no, she's not, ain't nobody got time for that. She sweet brown me. She put sweet brown on me just like that, right? And she goes, I don't have time for that. She goes, but listen, she goes, I want you to know that I'm very happy, and I want you to know why. And I said, well, why? She goes, one thing. She goes, Lauren, I don't care what you do in this world. It doesn't matter how many missteps you've had. You have never had a mistake. You've only taken missteps. And as long as you learn and you grow and you live a life that is of service to others, she goes, all you have to do is when you're in the spot where I'm at, and we'll all get here. She goes, remember this. When you entered this world, you were the one crying and everyone around you was smiling. If you've lived that life, that your best version of yourself, when you're where I'm at, you'll be the one smiling while everyone around you is crying.
How about that?
And I took just one of the most wonderful people ever. So, and Cam, you're another one. So
thank you, Mr. Lauren.
Yes, thank you so much. You guys get over on your screen other connectors for Mr. Montgomery, Cam Montgomery Jr. Get over and check him out on YouTube and Instagram. And
thank you so much.
Yes, and thank you for pouring into us. I couldn't think of a better way to start this week off and to start this day off. You guys learn a lot. Please receive what you've heard here today. Do something. Have a conversation. Go and visit someone that may not have anyone. And watch. You'll walk away being the one who's truly blessed. That is the truth. And I give it to you. Get out there now and do what we do. Love up on everyone in every situation you encounter. If you leave those just a little bit better than the way you found them, I guarantee you, we will change this world. It's all about the conversation, and it's all about continual healing, right? So get out there and be the blessing you'd like to see in the world. I'll see every one of you. Cam, you can come back anytime.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Join me tomorrow where the founders of Symposium, the app, you know about it. I talk about it all the time. They're going to be here tomorrow to show you all the new things that they have on how anybody from just a teenager all the way to the end of the spectrum, you can use this platform to get your message out into the world. I'll see you out on the front porch, God willing, for our next installment, you guys, of what? Bathrobe Moments. Have a great day. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Cam.